Are you seeking fulfillment for your life? Do you want freedom from fear? That's why we're here. Welcome to Jesus 101, introducing you to the real Jesus. And now, here's your host, Elizabeth Talbot.
Welcome once again to Jesus 101. I am so excited that you have joined us for this series, Revelation, the Fifth Gospel. We are focusing on different pictures of Jesus in Revelation that I am hoping are going to bring you such level of hope and excitement. You know, a lot of people fear the book of Revelation. My good friend Mike Tucker has a book on Revelation, and one of the phrases he has in it says, how to read the book of Revelation and still sleep at night. And I think it's so great because a lot of people say, no, don't even talk to me about this book. We're focusing on the different revelations of Jesus Christ, as the first verse says. These are different pictures of Jesus that are designed to give you hope. Today I'm going to start by telling you a story that happened to me when I was a young woman. The truth is, we were quite poor, and my parents made a great sacrifice so that I could go to a Christian college, Christian school, and we didn't have a lot of money. So the money was going towards the education, and we had to watch the budget very much. As a matter of fact, very humble. And I had run out of good dresses for church. And we didn't have any money to buy a good dress. And my mom had a brilliant idea. She said, I'm going to take one of my dresses, one of my good dresses, and I'm going to cut it and make it small so that you can have a new dress. And I still remember the dress. And I remember the first day I wore it because she gave up her dress. And she put pieces of her dress, and then she got really creative and put some other things so they would look something nice for a little girl. And when I wore that dress, I remember saying, wow, my mom loves me so much that she gave up her dress so that I could have a good dress. Now, today we're going to see a picture that is so rich in colors. As a matter of fact, my dress used to be red and white, and we have those colors in the set today. And I have to tell you, I'm breaking all the rules of TV today because we're not supposed to wear white on TV, and I had to ask for a special permission from my producer to actually wear white. But there is a purpose, and it's because today we're studying why is it that this great multitude of the redeemed is wearing white? Why are they all wearing white? As a matter of fact, it's such an important color in the book of Revelation. We are told this multitude is wearing white, and this other people are wearing white in the coming of Jesus. And only Jesus has a robe that is dipped in blood in the second coming description. Everybody's wearing white. And so I wanted to wear white so that we were in the right place with the right colors. And thank you so much to my producer for allowing me to wear white today. I want to take you to the book of Revelation, chapter 7. This is one of the most amazing, colorful, and rich pictures of what the Lamb has done. And, I love how our expert in Revelation, Dr. Kendra Haloviak-Valentine, has been helping us to just stay with the richness of the pictures in Revelation. Not try to decode everything, but to actually look to see what do these pictures mean. And there's one part of the picture that I'm going to use to introduce today's topic in Revelation chapter 7, where we get robes that are white. And the explanation is given, how come these robes are white? How did they become so white from all these people that were sinful? How come they're wearing white robes? And there is an explanation. See, the whole redemption history is a clothing crisis. It's a clothing crisis. Adam loses his robe, and instead of going back to God, running back, he says, okay, I think I can do my own clothing. So he puts fig leaves, and he says, well, I think I look pretty cool. Don't you think, God? And God says, no, you don't look pretty cool. As a matter of fact, you don't look good at all. You should have asked me. And then God clothes Adam and Eve with garments of skin. And some people see there the beginning of the sacrificial system because God gives them skin from an animal to wear. Well, the truth is the clothing crisis continues all the way to the book of Revelation, and the church of Laodicea is still struggling with what to wear. As a matter of fact, they think they're looking pretty cool, like Adam with those fig leaves. They think they're very well dressed. And God says, you're not very well dressed at all. You should buy from me, as we have seen in a previous program, the Laodicea clothing crisis. And in chapter 7, we are told in very rich colors why the multitude is wearing white. Chapter 7 of Revelation, verse 13. Then one of the elders answered, saying to me, these are clothed in the white robes. Who are they? Where have they come from? And I said to him, my Lord, you know. And he said to me, these are the ones who have come out of the great tribulation, and they have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. I mean, I am fascinated by these colors. I mean, what kind of bleach is this? That you put something dirty in, and the blood that is red comes out with white robes. I mean, this is such an incredibly rich color that I just wanted to put it together for you. So let's say this is a sinful people that are on the earth, that are dirty and they don't qualify to be in the presence of God. All of a sudden, they put their dirty garment inside the blood. And somehow this incredible bucket of blood does a bleach on them. And so when their clothing comes out, it's white and it's sparkling. And the whole multitude is wearing this incredible white robes. And the only way that they could make it white was because of the red. Isn't this rich? Oh, there's so much in this chapter that I must bring the expert to explain to us what is going on in this chapter, so full of colors and of an incredible picture of Jesus that we're going to study, where the Lamb becomes something else. So far, we have seen the Lion and the Lamb and the Alpha and the Omega, and I can't wait. I can't wait for us to now get together with our expert, Dr. Kendra Haloviak-Valentine, who has been with us for the whole series and continues to give such wonderful insights that I think all of you are going to get great hope from this book. Hello, Kendra, and thank you so much for joining us again.
Good to see you again.
I am so glad you're here.
Such an amazing chapter.
Isn't it?
Such an amazing chapter.
So rich in colors and numbers. And, well, I'm glad you're here because actually I have heard some crazy talks on this chapter in the past.
Yes.
And some people have not found a lot of hope, thinking, okay, how many people are going to be saved? And who are these people? Is there a few people? So tell us about chapter 7 of Revelation.
Yes, the scene begins with 144,000 people being sealed, protected, numbered. In the Jewish scriptures, the idea of being numbered is a way of being protected.
Oh.
It's that idea that I know your number, I know how many are supposed to be here, now we can protect this number of people.
Oh.
And so it's a beautiful way of describing.
It's almost like saying, I know your name, I know the hairs on your head,
That's
and
right.
you're sealed. I know
That's
who
right.
you are.
That's right.
You're mine.
That's right. And it starts with this 144,000 people who are sealed, protected. And they're from the 12 tribes of Israel. Now,
why are 144? Is that 12 times 12?
That's an important number, the number 12. It's the kingdom number. Think of the 12 tribes, think of the 12 disciples. And when we get to chapter 21 of the book of Revelation, there's going to be so many sets of 12s around the New Jerusalem. This is the kingdom of God number.
Okay.
It has that symbolic power.
So every time we see a 12, this is the
Kingdom.
people of God,
That's
the kingdom
right.
of God.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so that's why
12 times 1,000. 1,000 was a multitude, a great multitude in those days. Because 1,000 people together in one spot, that's a lot of people in the first century context.
I see.
Very different for us today.
Yeah. So what about all these people that take chapter 7, start on verse 4, and they say, okay, there's going to be 144,000 people that are going to be saved, and you better be one of them.
Yeah, that just always breaks my heart when I hear that, because not only is it a misunderstanding of this kind of literature, making it very literal, but it's also so sad for people. How can I ever make it if out of all of the billions of people who are living right now on
Even
this
in
earth,
the present.
right now, not to mention since time began, how am I going to make 144,000? Think how many people live in your local city. I mean, really.
Yes.
And so if we're going to talk about God winning, that wouldn't be God winning.
That's
when you think of
exactly
how
true.
many
It would be
people-
all these people are going to be lost, and
Right.
144,000, you cannot call that a victory of
No,
all tribes and
no.
tongues and people
Right.
redeemed.
And
So-
that's not what is going on
Okay.
here. In fact, we have a clue from earlier in the book of
Oh,
Revelation.
please give it to us.
Earlier in the book of Revelation, when we were talking about the scene where the little scroll was not being able to be opened up, it's at that point we learned that the Lion of the tribe of Judah had conquered.
Yes, I remember
And
that.
he heard the lion, he turned, and he saw a lamb.
Okay.
The same thing happens here. He hears the number 144,000.
Okay.
He turns and he sees a great multitude that no one could count.
Okay.
It's the same reality described in two different ways.
Okay, I hope we get that, and I hope our viewers are getting that. See, this is part of the symbolic language of apocalyptic literature. He heard the lion, he turns and saw a lamb. That's why we have the lion and the lamb in our banner. Here,
Both referring to Jesus.
both referring to Jesus. So he hears, turns, sees something else.
Right.
Here he hears about the 144,000, and he turns to look at it, and when he looks at it, is a great multitude.
That no one could count.
And that is actually in the Bible, for those of you that are saying, really? The Bible says that no one can count? Let me read it to you. Revelation chapter 7, verse 9. After these things, after the 144,000, the 12 tribes that are mentioned here, I looked, and behold, this 144,000 really were a great multitude, which no one could count. So what a great hope that gives me, because that means I'm included because
That's
I've been
right.
saved by the
That's
blood of
right.
the Lamb.
That's right.
I don't have to make sure I'm not 143,999 and I barely got in.
Exactly. And there's also these two different ways of describing the redeemed. They're just beautiful ways. For example, that 144,000, I love that description because for generations, at the time this book was written, for generations, the 10 tribes of Israel had been long gone.
Oh,
Completely gone.
Exactly.
And now there's this sense of
Completeness.
They're back. They've been redeemed. They've been brought back, saved by God. And so now the 12 tribes are together again. It's a beautiful way of describing the way in which God can bring back from brokenness, can bring back wholeness, and the community is restored.
How wonderful that you say that, because not only the brokenness of the kingdom of Israel here, but in this case, they're coming from great tribulation, and God has this ability, and for our viewers are going through difficult times, sometimes I don't understand how God can make all things work for the good of those who love him. Sometimes we don't understand how can he bring wholeness from brokenness, but that is his specialty. And not only with the multitude that he has been able to save the whole, but individually, those who were broken and went through tribulation, now they are in a different state because of the Lamb. And so tell us what happens after the great multitude he sees, and then what happens?
Well, it's very interesting that there will be this shift to the great multitude after the 144,000, and I love this little give and take between one of the elders and John the seer. He says, "Who are all these robed in white? Where have they come from?"
Yeah,
and he goes, "You're the one that knows." It's a very interesting
Yes,
kind of
because the elder
back
is
and
the one
forth.
that asked the question.
Right, right.
Okay.
And you'd think that the elder, clearly the elder already knows.
Yes.
But he's kind of asking John, and by asking John, then John says, "You're the one that knows."
Yes.
And then the elder is able to tell all of us. It's
a
powerful,
dialogue so that we can learn
so that we
about
can
it.
learn. Who
Yeah.
are these? And of course, then we learn this beautiful way of talking about these are they who've washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb.
What a rich visualization. I can't get it. That's why I had to bring the red bucket and the
Yes.
black and the white, because it's so colorful. Right before this exchange, we get again this verse 10, salvation to our God who sits on the throne and to the Lamb, and all the angels again standing around the throne and around the elders and the four living creatures, all the people we saw, or creatures or whatever we want to call them in chapter 4 and 5, they fell on their faces, and again they say these 7 things,
Sevenfold praise. That's right.
Sevenfold praise. Amen. Blessing and glory and wisdom and thanksgiving and honor and power and might be to our God. And then the elder says to John, okay, I have a little question for you. And John is like, I don't know. You have to know. So let's read it, because this is really fascinating. Verse 13. Then one of the elders answered, saying to me, those who are clothed in the white robes, that's why I'm wearing white, and thanks to my producer again. Those who are clothed in the white robes, who are they and where have they come from? And I said to him, my Lord, you know. I don't know. And then here he gives the answer. Please explain the answer to us. Why is such richness of color? Have we seen this before in the book of Revelation? Where is it coming from?
I think one of the aspects of this I find the most meaningful is that it completely doesn't work humanly speaking.
Okay.
If we had a white or even a light garment and we wanted to make it whiter,
we wouldn't put it in red.
The last thing we would do is put it in blood.
Absolutely.
That would be the last thing we would do. And yet this lets us know that God's ways are not human ways.
Exactly.
That this is the wonder of salvation. And that it is precisely that paradoxical description of washing robes in the blood of Jesus that allow then there's proper garment now to go to the wedding feast, which is coming.
You know, I love the fact that the whole history of redemption is a clothing crisis. You know, from Adam
I
all the way.
enjoyed that part of your presentation.
Because the truth is, there's a struggle from Genesis to Revelation saying, okay, what am I going to wear? I mean, this is a question that usually women ask, but actually, theologically, everybody's asking, what am I going to wear? The high priest, Joshua. What am I going to wear? Well, what you're wearing, even though you're the high priest, is not good enough. So exchange, please, the wedding feast. Here's a robe, Laodicea. I'm well dressed. No, you're not.
No.
So there is this clothing crisis, and the bottom line is, the garment of salvation is not in your closet. It's something that God gives.
That's right.
You. You know, one of the founders of the Seventh-day Adventist Church that I really admire, Ellen White, she always says, the robe of righteousness that saves you doesn't have one thread of human doing in it. So don't ever confuse why you are saved. And some people are still confused. And so here we have, these are the ones who washed the robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. But then something happens to the Lamb, and the Lamb becomes something different. This is the beauty of Revelation. You know, that we have lions, we have lambs, we have this. The Lamb becomes a different picture of Jesus.
Isn't it amazing? There's a transformation just within a few lines.
Yes, tell us about it.
The Lamb becomes the shepherd. It's just a powerful combination of images. And I just want to pause for a moment and remember the Gospel of John. The Gospel of John is the gospel where Jesus says, I am the good shepherd. And he goes on to say something else. He says, I am the door to the sheepfold. Now, in the first century context, a shepherd, if it were a good shepherd, the shepherd would actually become the doorway into the sheepfold. They would actually sleep as the door. Oh. So that no lamb could leave
and nobody else could come in.
And no one else could come in. If you're a good shepherd, now not all shepherds were good.
Exactly.
But if you really loved your sheep, you would actually become the door into the sheepfold. Oh. Jesus says, I am the good shepherd, and I am the door. That's how much I love my sheep. And so here you have a picking up of that imagery again, where verse 17, the Lamb at the center of the throne, which, by the way, is powerful, just right there, because the one seated on the throne is the God of the universe, the Creator, and now we learn that the Lamb is at the center of the throne.
So there's 2 seats on the throne.
Well, the Lamb is God. I think it's very much an emphasis on the divinity of Jesus.
Exactly.
So the Lamb at the center of the throne is their shepherd.
See, this lamb becoming the shepherd has blown my mind away over the years. Most of you that have gone to hospitals or have tried to help somebody, I think Psalm 23 is the one chapter that everybody repeats. The Lord is my shepherd. But I don't think most people have seen this picture of Jesus where the lamb is my shepherd. I shall not be in want.
Yeah.
It's not just God, but it's the lamb, the one who was slain so that I could have the white robe. He is my shepherd. I shall not be in want. And actually, he's going to take me to places where I can be fed, like Psalm 23 says, green pastures and waters of rest. That's exactly where the shepherd is going to take these people that are with him now. The lamb that became the shepherd is not going to guide them to very similar places.
Verse 16, they will hunger no more.
Can you
For
imagine?
people who've known what it's like to be hungry. No more hunger, no more thirst. The sun will not strike them, nor any scorching heat. And then if you continue down through that amazing section about the lamb at the center of the throne as the shepherd, he will guide them to springs of the water of life. Water is an image all throughout the Bible, Old and New Testaments, pointing to source of life, pointing to God, pointing what is necessary for to take inside for life, but also to clean us on the outside. It's a powerful image. And here you have Jesus, the very one who met the woman at the well saying, I am the living water, is now the one who will take the lambs, guiding them to the springs of the water of life. And then look at the very last phrase in chapter 7, and God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. Now, typically we think of that phrase, which will come up again at the very end of the book of Revelation, chapter 21. It is here in 7. As you're in the midst of life's difficulties, when you know hunger, when you know thirst, when you know loss, and in that moment, the book of Revelation says, please know that the Lamb is your shepherd.
And once he becomes your shepherd, you will no longer hunger or thirst. He will take you to places where you're safe. And it brings tears to my eyes to think of God saying, okay, Kendra, you know that tear that you had? Let me wipe it. Can you imagine God saying, okay, it's over. We're going to be together again. Thank you so much for sharing. I have goosebumps right now and tears in my eyes.
It's an amazing chapter.
Yes, it's an amazing chapter. And I want to continue on this for just a few minutes on this fact that the lamb becomes this shepherd. I mean, what an amazing metaphor, or not even a metaphor, I mean, a picture of Jesus where the lamb is now the shepherd. I have been blessed to be able to study this concept of shepherd. And here I have the staff. See, usually you think of Jesus as the lamb, but you don't think of him as the shepherd, saying, okay, I'm the lamb, people, follow me. We're going somewhere where there's going to be good water and good food for you. And, I had to study a particular word in the Greek. And I'm going to tell you in a moment, I spent 8 years on this word doing my PhD. The word where Jesus says, come and I'll give you rest. In Matthew 28:11 to 30. What I didn't know is that Psalm 23 in the Septuagint, which you remember is the Old Testament in Greek, uses the word anapausis, rest, the same one that Jesus used. When he says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. He takes me to waters of anapausis. He takes me to waters of rest. He's the only one that can give me the real thing. And before I take you there, I want to tell you that not all shepherds have been good shepherds. And I want to mention that because sometimes it seems that in religion we seem to be a little bit in denial. And we say, well, yes, if you have a church, things are going well for you. No, says God, not all shepherds have been good shepherds. I have had shepherds that were not good shepherds and did not do the role of the shepherd. One of those chapters that would be great for you if you have been hurt by the church in some way. Or if someday you wanted to enter the church and some elder stopped you because you were not dressed appropriately or whatever. Said, no, you cannot come in here. God says, no, that's not a good shepherd. Because the shepherd were supposed to bring the sheep. And chapter 34, Ezekiel, is a condemnation to the shepherds, the religious leaders that did not do their job and allowed the sheep to be scattered and were not good shepherds. And then God says, I'm going to take over. As a matter of fact, says God, those shepherds that did not do right, they were not what I intended. And if you have been hurt by the church, I want to apologize to you if you have been hurt by somebody that was supposed to be a leader in the church. In Ezekiel 34, not all shepherds are good. And God says in verse 11, thus says the Lord, behold, myself, I will search for my sheep, and I will take them. And it starts saying, I'm going to take care of them. They're not going to be hungry anymore. They're not going to be thirsty anymore. All these things that we just saw in Revelation were already prophesied of Jesus in Ezekiel chapter 34. As a matter of fact, it goes on in verse 15. It says, I will feed my flock, and I will give them rest. And guess what? It's the same word, anapausis, that Jesus talked later. I will give them anapausis. I am going to give them the rest. I'm the real shepherd, says God. And who is he going to do this through? Oh, says God, there's one coming. And this is prophetic. Many years before Jesus comes to live on this earth, many years before the Gospels. Verse 25, I will set over them one shepherd, my servant David. And this is the Davidic king that was to come, because, the other David is gone for many hundreds of years already. He will feed them. He will feed them himself and be their shepherd. This was a prophecy that the shepherds had done so bad, some of the religious leaders, that God says, I'm taking over. I'm bringing my own shepherd. And my own shepherd is going to be the Davidic prince. He will feed you. He will be the one who will give you waters of rest. He will be the one that will protect you. And, the lamb in Revelation, when we finish the full circle, the lamb becomes the shepherd. And the lamb says, well, I'm the lamb that was slain so that you could get the white robes. Now that you understand that, follow me. And so then he says, okay, now we're going to be together forever. You're not going to hunger anymore. And we're going to show you a beautiful slide as we finish our program of the lion and the lamb. And the lion and the lamb, now think of it like this. Perhaps for the first time, you had never seen this picture of Jesus before. The lamb who becomes the shepherd and says, I got you covered. Maybe some of those who were supposed to take care of you didn't take care of you. But I'm going to take care of you. I know your hunger and not your thirst. I'm taking you to a place where there will be no more hunger. As a matter of fact, I'm going to wipe away every tear from your eyes. And what if we read Psalm 23 paraphrased this way, as Revelation tells it? The Lamb is my shepherd. I shall not be in want. He will make me lie down in green pastures. He will take me to waters of rest. The Lamb will restore my soul. I hope this new picture of Jesus gives you great, great hope.